Welcome everybody to another episode of Hearing Health Insights with APPF. We're really excited to be giving you an exclusive interview with Chantel Victor. We're really excited to be talking to you. We hope that this also gives the public an insight into independent audiologists and what the value is of independent audiology. Please give us an idea, just introduce yourself and then give us an idea how you started, what was the inspiration behind becoming an audiologist, and a bit of your journey from where you started, where you are now.
Hi, Sabran. So thanks so much for having. In short, what and who inspired me is actually my grandmother. She was diagnosed with a hearing loss at a very young age due to a viral infection. And when standard 9, well, back in the day, it was standard 9 matric, we needed to decide what we're going to do, what we're going to study. I decided to go with my grandmother to her audiologist, and I was interested immediately. I observed a couple of hours after that, and then I decided, well, that's what I want to do. So inspired and influenced by my gran.
It's interesting to me that I see it quite often these days with viral infections and the impact that it has on sudden hearing loss. So really interesting that was the key actually for your journey into audiology. Give me an idea, is there something specifically in the field of audiology, even if it is just diagnostics, but that you are really passionate about, a certain particular field?
From the get-go, I think once I started my journey with audiology, starting to study it, I realized sooner than later that clinical audiology is my passion, and that's where I want to go with audiology. So I think honestly, from the get-go, I realized that's where I want to be. And I'm the type of person, once I set my head on something that I want to do or want to accomplish, I just go for it with everything I have. I think once I decided that back at varsity already, I just went for it. And that's the field where I find myself practicing today, and it's my absolute passion, and I just love doing it.
So during this course of doing clinical audiology, you obviously see a lot of patients, and hearing health is related to a person's whole well-being. And can you maybe explain, somebody's watching this, what is the importance of hearing loss on the overall well-being of a person? So it's obviously not only the hearing organ that is affected, but what is that overall well-being that a person might not actually know, some of the hidden consequences of hearing loss?
Hearing loss is associated with a lot of other hidden conditions, if I can call it that. Something that you might not associate hearing loss with is something like diabetes. Okay, not to say that hearing loss will cause Alzheimer's or dementia, but there is a link and an association between the two. And it stems from the fact that if you are diagnosed with a hearing loss and you leave it unamplified, in other words, you do not get assistance with a hearing aid, if it's an inner ear hearing loss specifically, after a long time of not amplifying and not stimulating your auditory system, it can lead to cognitive decline and the auditory nerve being deprived of stimulation and then dying off eventually. So that is why there can be an association with dementia and Alzheimer's, for example. Fatigue is also, it plays a role. It takes so much more concentration to zoom in and to really listen, so you can become fatigued and find yourself very tired, and that being a consequence of having a hearing loss and having to concentrate so hard. Falling, not having balance, for example, middle ear infections. Those are just some of the things that can be associated with hearing loss. Even something like wax buildup, one would think, to which extent can wax actually influence your hearing? But I mean, I've done hearing tests and I've seen extreme shifts in hearing thresholds just because of something like wax buildup.
That's a vital point that you make, and thanks for sharing that. I had a patient the other day, and although this does not happen necessarily to every person that I see, I had this particular person who started their hearing treatment after we diagnosed hearing loss. And even just 6 weeks after having that hearing aids fitted, he also mentioned to me that he's got this sort of clarity of mind. His decision making seems to be faster. He feels like he's less tired at the end of the day. So those hidden consequences of hearing loss that a person doesn't necessarily think of or know of, and the benefit that hearing treatment can give a person. Chantel, during your course of clinical work, is there a heartwarming story? I suppose there must be many. You mentioned that you started in practice since 2012 already, but if there is maybe something that you can share with us, inspirational story, one of your patients, or a heartwarming story.
As you were opening up the conversation, I actually got goosebumps because I can specifically think back to this one patient of mine. It was a 2-year-old little boy, and he had meningitis. So meningitis, for those who don't know, you get bacterial and viral meningitis. He had the type of meningitis that actually damaged his inner ear, and it left him with a severe to a profound hearing loss at 2 years old. This was a boy that was talking, that was interacting. He got the meningitis and then just couldn't hear a thing after that. So by the time they got to me at the practice, obviously the parents were like frazzled. They didn't know what was going on. We had a little boy that was frustrated. We did an ASSR and APPF testing in theatre for the little boy, and we ended up trialing him with hearing aids. And I think the moment we switched on those hearing aids and just the look on that little boy's face and even the parents' face, the boy could hear again, and that was just heartwarming, to just see his expression, to perceive the gratefulness from the parents. It was just, it was just literally, it was so overwhelming. And that was the one, that is the one heartfelt. I have lots, but that's one that really stands out for me.
I must tell you, Chantel, I've got so much respect for audiologists that work with children. You are dear to my near and dear to my heart. Even though I myself don't see children, I really respect the work that you are doing. That's a fantastic story as well. Just want to know from you, so there's obviously a lot of service providers in the field of hearing healthcare. To you, what is the value of being an independent audiologist? Do you think that means something for the care that you provide to your patients?
So yes, definitely. I think audiologists as independent practitioners, we play a crucial role. Just in a nutshell, we cover quite a lot, and it starts with neonatal hearing screenings, to ensure, because you really have your high-risk babies that has jaundice or had complications during birth or prior to birth, to identify those hearing losses in children and little ones as early as possible, because then the intervention and the prognosis is so much better. So it stems and starts there, and then our role just extends from there, identifying and treating, making appropriate recommendations for individuals of all ages, right through to the geriatric population, in terms of management, treatment, counseling, providing information. It starts with testing and screening little ones, and then we cover the whole spectrum in terms of age of patients. I think not only that, I think as independent audiologists, we are in the privileged position to be able to give information to the public, to all sectors, people that can access the resources fairly easily, and to those that are not able to access it, limited access to resources. So I think counseling, giving information, and treating, diagnosing hearing loss, I think it's just, we play a very important role in the treatment and diagnosis of hearing loss.
That's absolutely valuable. And just to add to that, what I'm hearing from you is such a strong focus on the clinical work in terms of the science of audiology as well, and to really get to the diagnosis behind what could be a possible cause of your hearing loss. And so it's really valuable that we're not only in the sector of saying that there is hearing loss and we're going to provide a hearing aid and that's it. It's such holistic care from an independent audiologist. So Chantel, I want to thank you for taking this opportunity and chatting to us. It was really nice just getting to get a bit of your personality. Thank you for taking the time. And I also want to take this opportunity to speak to you watching there at home. Yes, please be a part of this conversation. So we're going to send some links at the bottom of this video for you to get in touch with us, to go to our website, get some extra information and resources. You'll also see Chantel and her practice being listed there. But please be a part of the conversation. And what does that mean? Comment on this video, ask a question if you've got a question, and we'd be happy to then engage in conversation with you. So thanks again, Chantel, for taking the time and being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks to all those listening, and I look forward to engaging with you and hopefully seeing you at a practice.